Records are made to be broken. Well, maybe not this one. Once upon a time, Hall of Fame fullback Ernie Nevers scored every one of his team's points, 6 touchdowns and 4 extra points, in a 40-6 victory over the Chicago Bears. But to those who know Ernie Nevers, this record wouldn't really come as a surprise. This dude was a man amongst boys. As we talk about Nevers, I highlight key moments from his career, on top of his record, that emphasize the dominance of this man during his time, and why you wouldn't be surprised that he holds this long-standing record. Ernest Alonzo Nevers, nicknamed Big Dog, was born on June 2nd, 1903, in Willow River, Minnesota. His parents, George and Mary Ann Nevers, were immigrants from Canada. He attended Superior Central High School until 1920, when his family relocated to Santa Rosa, California. There Nevers attended Santa Rosa High School. He led the Santa Rosa football team by scoring 108 of the team's 170 points while he was there. In 1925, he would be honored by the school when they named their stadium Ernie Nevers Field. He is considered to be one of the best football players in the 1920s and 30s, and we often hear players being described as dual threat. If we describe Ernie Nevers as a dual threat, it would be true, but misleading in terms of how we use the words today. He was a dual threat in this sense. He could play both defense and offense. He did everything on both sides. Despite playing fullback, he could pass, run, and play defense. Oh wait, he also kicked and punted, so a triple threat. I think this tidbit truly drives home the point. In his final game for Stanford in 1925, he handled the ball on every offensive play except 3 and participated in every defensive play. So in 1922, he would attend Stanford University. Head coach Pop Warner, an influential figure in shaping the game, said he was the greatest player he had ever coached. The football player without a fault, were his words, comparing him to one of the most famous athletes at the time, Jim Thorpe. In the final game of the 1923 season, he gained more yards than the entire California team, even though Cal won 9-0. He excelled in other sports as well, playing basketball, baseball, and track for Stanford following the 1923 football season. In his 3 seasons at Stanford, under coach Glenn Pop Warner, Nevers helped the team to a 22-5-1 record and to the Rose Bowl against Notre Dame in 1925. And this game would put him on the map. He had missed most of the 1924 season with 2 broken ankles, and his cast had been removed 10 days prior to this game. During the game, his legs were bandaged up, but they were so tight that the circulation was almost cut off and he could barely walk. Didn't matter though, he played all 60 minutes and rushed for 114 yards on 34 carries. He even intercepted a pass, and he completed 11 of 21 passes, while Notre Dame was only 3 of 10, although he would throw 2 interceptions, which were returned for touchdowns, and Stanford would lose 27-10. He would then join the NFL, playing for the Duluth Eskimos in 1926 and 1927, and the Chicago Cardinals from 1929 to 1931. In between his time with these NFL teams, he would also play professional baseball as a pitcher for the St. Louis Browns from 1926 to 1928, and the Mission Bells in 1928 to 1929. Nevers started his career with the Eskimos for $15,000 plus a percentage of the gate receipts. The other players would receive $50 to $75 depending on the outcome of the game, but Nevers brought people to the field, and so he was compensated. In one 8-day period, the team played in 5 different cities, from St. Louis to New York, and they did it with a roster of just 16 players, and today we can play in about a short week. Such endurance led sports writer Grantland Rice to title them the Iron Men from the North. In his rookie year, Nevers played 1,714 of the 1,740 minutes that were available. And guess why he missed those 26 minutes? An appendicitis. And after 26 minutes, he went back into the game, despite the doctor telling him not to. They were down 6-0 against the Milwaukee Badgers, and Nevers came in and threw a 62-yard touchdown pass and kicked the extra point, sealing the game 7-6. He was a fierce competitor. In an exhibition game, the Cardinals were up 33-6 late in the 4th quarter, and he was about to be subbed out, but he had this to say: "Who in the hell says Nevers is going out? Get this straight. I'm running this team and not the guys on the bench. I'm not taking myself out until the game's in the bag." Reading up on this dude, I feel like he's the perfect candidate for this record. I'm surprised he doesn't have even more, to be honest. But what brings us to Big Dog today is a record set in 1929 that still stands. 40 points in a single game. The thing is, this was not new. He had scored all his team's points countless times. Just 4 days earlier, he scored all 19 points, beating the Dayton Triangles 19-0. At the time, the rivalry in the NFL was between the Chicago Bears and the Cardinals. In a game between these two, on November 28, 1929, he also set another NFL record when he scored 6 rushing touchdowns in a single game. However, this record has now been tied by Alvin Kamara in 2020. Nevers would score 4 PATs to secure the total scoring record, so he actually outscored 2 whole teams 59-0 in a 4-day span. Lucky for many other teams, he would retire in 1932 after breaking his wrist. He would make All-Pro each of his 5 seasons in the league. Following Pearl Harbor, he enlisted in the Marine Corps. He would then spend the rest of his years in San Francisco. In 1951, he was inducted into the College Hall of Fame and was an inaugural inductee into the Hall of Fame in 1963. He would pass away in 1976. Alright, thanks for watching.